Haven is headed southward through the Pacific at a speed of 33 knots. The Missouri's falling behind at a rate of about 2 nautical miles every hour.
Can't this thing go any faster?
I'm afraid not. This is as fast as she'll go. Liquid's target is JD, a U.S. military satellite disguised as orbital debris. Oh. Haven will have to surface in order to use the railgun.
If we can figure out JD's orbit...
There.
we should be able to predict where Haven's gonna surface.
JD is in a synchronous elliptical orbit, so its next perigee should be in...
Got it! 15 hours, 6 minutes, and 12 seconds.
Right. In 15 hours, it's going to be over the Bering Sea, 494 nautical miles from the Bering Strait. Haven knows it too. They'll be holding position in that area.
Do they really have to get that close to launch?
The nukes fired by Rex's railgun have a damage radius of approximately 300 meters. The target is a moving satellite that's traveling at 10 kilometers per second. To get the precision they need, they have to get as close as they possibly can.
Liquid won't launch his nuke until JD is at perigee. The Missouri can use that time to catch up.
Will we make it?
Once Haven stops moving, it'll take us an hour to close the gap. After that, the Missouri needs to strike before Haven's launch preparations are complete. This ship was stripped of most of its equipment, and she's got no electronic warfare capabilities of any kind. No radar, no high-tech weaponry. We'll have to rely on our own eyes to track the enemy. From the looks of it, Haven is going to use a railgun mounted on the bridge to destroy JD. You'll need to open the cover to launch the nuke. That's our one and only chance to get inside.
Inside? Why can't we attack it from here?
It wouldn't do any good. As long as Liquid has control of the system, physically destroying GW would still leave supreme authority in his hands. Sons of the Patriots.
Yes, Dr. Emmerich is right. That's why we need to destroy GW from the inside, before attacking Haven itself.
Liquid's very own Death Star.
All right, everybody, here's the plan. We know Haven will have to surface in order to fire the railgun. When it does, the Missouri will see it. We'll make a quick approach and deliver a strike team. Our goal is twofold. Prevent that nuke from launching, and wipe out GW's programming. The enemy relies entirely on electronic means of threat detection, so they won't be able to see the Missouri until they surface. We'll launch the strike team from catapults at the exact moment Haven's armored cover opens. They'll then penetrate GW's physical server room and infect it with a worm cluster.
But what if they shut down GW before we get in there?
Liquid is already entrenched within the Patriots network. He needs to stay there, or destroying JD won't serve him any purpose. They can't afford to have GW shut down.
And let's not forget, Liquid will throw everything he's got at stopping the strike team.
Exactly. The corridor leading to GW is defended by directed energy weapons that emit certain types of microwaves.
Did you say microwaves?
That's right. And at that frequency, the waves will start to evaporate any living person within range.
A giant microwave oven. You'd have to have a death wish to go in there. Sounds like the perfect job for me.
Snake, this isn't the time for your stupid jokes.
Outside the corridor, Liquid soldiers will be out in full force. Inside, there'll be unmanned weapons waiting for us.
Where are you getting all this information? You really think there's a way to destroy GW?
Yes, I do. She left us something that'll point us in the right direction.
Naomi helped with the preparations to stop Haven's launch.
Naomi?
All of our internal data on Haven came from her. The reason she got on the Nomad with us in the first place was to get close to me. But she ended up turning to Sonny instead.
What do you mean?
She left her plan in Sonny's hands.
This entire operation is based on the data she left us.
Whose side was she on, anyway?
We'll never know exactly what her true intentions were. But one thing's for sure. She was determined to stop Liquid.
Promise. Promise me. You'll carry on. Or will.
Come on, guys. Somebody say something positive. Anything.
Attention! Listen up. A wise man once wrote, "The tongues of dying men enforce attention like deep harmony. Where words are spent, they are seldom spent in vain." Any other questions? Yes, Snake?
Anybody got a smoke?
Snake.
So this program, you're saying Sonny wrote it?
Actually, only about a third of it is her work. Naomi was working on a program to destroy GW, but she couldn't quite finish it, so she handed it over to Sonny. Sonny went fishing in my library to see if there was any source code she could use to complete it. Eventually, she found some. It was Emma's worm cluster. She took my sister's code and worked it into Naomi's program. I didn't have time to look over every single line of code, but what I did see reminded me of Emma. It was like she left traces of herself behind in the structure. But this worm cluster that Sonny created, it's even better than Emma's. Sonny's worm destroys the AI's intellect by triggering apoptosis in the cells. Once uploaded into GW, it should do some real damage. Snake, you ever think about quitting?
Why? It's not like I've got my health to worry about.
Are you trying to kill yourself? So, you're dead set on going to Haven yourself. Why don't we get somebody else to go? There's no need for you to do it.
I still have things left to do. Besides smoke. Otacon, why don't you jump off the ship with me?
I don't think so. I've still got things to do myself. And I don't even smoke.
Vessel at 300 meters and still rising.
And the engines.
No problems to report.
Prepare to go full speed ahead, and get the strike team ready for immediate launch.
Aye, aye, Captain.
How long until it surfaces?
About 20 minutes.
Right on schedule. When she surfaces and opens up her armor, we'll move in as planned.
Aye, Captain. Captain?
Yes?
This is my first real engagement.
I see. Your point?
At first, getting assigned to this ship was a big letdown for me. But the inaction was kind of a relief, too. Captain, I'm scared.
It's okay. I'm scared too. This is also my first time. But I'm not going to let it get to me, because I'm more scared of what'll happen if I run away. Nobody is going to die on my watch. This ship is going back to Hawaii in one piece. That, I promise.
Right. Thank you.
He'll live, but he's in no shape to fight. Best to let him rest.
Right.
Without the system to protect them, everybody's losing their nerve. They say SOP's after effects are so bad that a lot of soldiers are deserting.
The only people I have left to rely on are Marilyn, him.
Kind of an unknown quantity, isn't he?
I hooked him up with a 9ID M82. Fancy meeting you here.
What are you doing here?
I laundered these guys' IDs, then issued them new naked weapons, including that catapult you're gonna be riding. Business has been slow ever since Liquid got his hands on the system. His extra orders stopped coming in. Now that all the weapons all over the world are locked, the only ones still looking to fight would be you and yours. They tell me it's not economical to replace all that useless equipment on the battlefield with my stuff. So I made an extra special trip out here, just for you.
Drebin, do you even have the slightest idea what's going on here?
Of course I do. See, when it comes down to it, the world's like this soda here. Once the bubbles are gone, I ain't got no use for it. It's worth nothing. I'm on the side of whoever needs me the most. You dig? If you need anything, just say the word. I'm setting up shop here for a spell. Enjoy it. Could be your last.
It is. I'm all out. All right.
Looks like that last smoke will have to wait after all. Later.
Hey, here.
Oh, thanks.
You're over there. There.
Snake, can you hear me? Liquid's warship, Outer Haven, is a modified version of an Arsenal gear model stolen from the Patriots. Inside, it's crawling with Irving and other unmanned weapons. According to Naomi's data, Haven is crewed by a battalion of enhanced soldiers, each culled from the best the PMCs have to offer. If Liquid succeeds in destroying JD and gaining control of the Patriots system, he'll make Haven his flagship, and his PMCs will spread like wildfire across the globe. And then, mankind's armed subjugation will begin.
Captain, Haven sighted.
Prepare to fire, main gun!
Listen closely. This is our last chance to stop Liquid from enslaving the planet. Meryl, can you hear me? It's time. Time to do your duty. Remember, no matter what happens, I'll be with you till the very end. You are my pride and joy.
railgun is exposed.
There it is. A naked nuke.
Let's finish it, Snake. Let this be our last battle. If we're responsible for Liquid's sins, then the onus is ours to bear.
Right.
Enemy moving to intercept!
Maintain full speed!
Failure will spell doom for the human race. You've got to stop them from using that railgun. Then annihilate GW.
Snake,
Where are you?
sorry. It's my ankle.
Can you walk?
I think so. Ah!
Are you okay?
Hurts a hell of a lot more without SOP.
Makes you feel alive, doesn't it? What about Occupy?
He fell into the ocean. Snake, I'll catch up soon. You go ahead.
Look on.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Snake, can you hear me? GW is toward the ship's stern. Hurry!
I really need to learn what the stern is. Okay, so this section is not that hard, actually. It's just kind of weird.
Good job, Snake. You made it on board.
Essentially what you do in this portion is you stun as many of the frogs as you possibly can. The timing isn't that specific, it's just really weird what happens when it doesn't go right. So, essentially what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to get by. Oh, hello there. as many of these frogs, kill that character, or kill that frog, and just run past another one who happened to be looking in a different direction. So right here is the relatively simple part. So yeah, that first portion of it, all the way until I shot that barrel, if I don't do it as fast as I did there, I would have been seen by a frog. Like, you cannot go any slower than I did there. Speed is a must.
The corridor leading to GW is defended by directed energy weapons that emit certain types of microwaves.
Did you say microwaves?
At that frequency, the waves will start to evaporate.
Sounds like the perfect job for me.
Meryl.
Now, the only reason this is gonna go as smoothly as it does is because I use an exploit. I really don't understand how this works, but when you have one frog left who is slowly going down due to tranquilizer stun, if you stun them like in the body and then just like smother them in smoke, then do that for long enough and you'll just skip the second and third wave of frogs. By some miracle, I actually got it, and because I got it so relatively early, it actually meant that the Screaming Mantis fight is much easier than it usually is. It is a nightmare if you can't take more than one hit. So yeah, here's how it goes. What I assume is going on is that it's just constantly flagging, oh, the final frog of a wave was defeated. But it's not actually drawing the next wave yet because she's not actually passed out. And there you go. Skip 2 waves. I have no idea why Hal would freaking put this functionality into this thing.
I'm afraid not. This is as fast as she'll go.
Maybe he was trying to put in some Star Wars reference. Yeah, rewatching a lot of these cutscenes, I was like, I originally had kind of a weird reaction to seeing Mei Ling, because like, I felt like she was portrayed as too not serious, but honestly, now that I've watched these again, I actually think that, like, she's actually just portrayed in a likable manner. It's something that's at least relatively consistent with the character that she was in Metal Gear Solid 1, although the sexying up is a bit much. Like, with angles like this. It's a sort of thing where it's like when I actually went back to see her scenes, I actually started getting like noticing different things, like how she portrays herself a bit differently in this room, which is around soldiers that she doesn't command, but she acts completely differently when she is talking to someone who she is commanding later on. Yeah, of all the exposition characters, Mei Ling, I'll actually say, is probably the most, no, I'd say Drebin is the most entertaining, but like, I think Mei Ling has the best balance of being entertaining plus being informative. But then again, I think that just has to do with the fact that she isn't given that much information, which may have been the good thing, really. They don't have to tell us everything about how Arsenal gear here works. And even just things like her posture here, how she's kind of chilled out here. Yeah, and little moments like this, like, are the kind of things that do add value to rewatching old cutscenes, as opposed to like just dense information. Seriously, here, are they just trying to portray Johnny as a creepy motherfucker or something?
A giant microwave oven. You'd have to have a death wish to go in there.
I don't know why, but for some reason the microwave hallway, it just seems always very bizarre. Once you actually see it, it actually works okay, but as a description, it's just weird. I guess it's too simple to understand, given how complicated a lot of stuff here is.
The reason she got on the Nomad with us in the first place was to get close to me.
I actually get the impression that a cutscene was cut, but I think this kind of is the biggest biggest example of how, like, you don't need to give exposition of all the information. It's like some things can be assumed and it will work fine.
Whose side was she on anyway?
Whose side was she on? She joined the New World Order! That effect is so weird. It's like, was that just supposed to be them turning on the lights?
Where words are spent, they are seldom spent in vain.
I actually kind of like that, just as like, this is what Mei Ling does. But it's like, unlike Paramedic, who is always very chipper about like making you want to feel better about the situation, Mei Ling is just like actually trying to be useful, or trying to give useful philosophy. But of course, we're not analyzing dead people's words, or I guess besides Naomi. I guess like her intention there was to make sure that we should have faith in Naomi's words and intention.
But she couldn't quite finish it.
Naomi's field is possibly the most complicated thing I've ever heard. It's like, obviously for nanomachines, it'd have to be a combination of computer technology, electronics engineering, and biology. And it's just like an even bigger fucking, now she has to go into AI fucking programming. Jesus. I think Naomi's age is like not supposed to be older than 40 in this game. And it's like she knows all this shit.
She took my sister's code and worked it into Naomi's program.
That fucking shot right there, I know it's supposed to be meaningful, but it's actually just fucking creepy if you take it too literally.
But by triggering apoptosis in the cells. Once uploaded into GW, it should do some real damage.
I wonder how files would exactly do apoptosis. It's like delete, delete, delete. Or it could just be like files executing a command to delete its own pointers. I really get the impression, after seeing this so many times in cutscenes, that this was supposed to be a full-blown mechanic. Instead of just something you have as a tool.
Are you trying to kill yourself?
Of all the characters in this game, I think Snake and Otacon, like even with all their bullshit poetry moments, they still have at least like a sense of who their characters are without like uniformly conforming to a role. Like right there, Otacon was still just like a very worried friend, but he still works as his own character regardless. That he's like, who he is based on his that his relationships to individual characters don't uniformly define who he is. I actually really like this look for Mei Ling.
No problems to report.
Crispin Freeman! Now whatever you do, do not join a PMC that will tell you to replace most of your body with cybernetics. It's unnecessary, and the kids they work with don't need to have their brains pulled out.
But the inaction was kind of a relief, too.
It's weird that, like, Crispin Freeman's performances are always defined by the fact that he has, like, such an air of confidence and just, like, boisterousness to his voice, and his one role here is to be the one character who's scared, but also just hiding it.
I'm not going to let it get to me. This ship is going back to Hawaii in one piece. That, I promise.
Right.
Yeah, that cutscene is like not exactly plot related, but it is a sort of thing where it's like it gives you insight to Mei Ling. It's weird that as much as like MGS4 has too many cutscenes, it needed cutscenes like that for Naomi and Meryl, I felt. Oh, this next shot is both hilarious but also cool. There is a sense of weight to this, and it's just like, yeah, it's like, yeah, group of numbers, 3 people who know what they're doing, 2 people who kind of know what they're doing, and everyone else is pissing themselves. Although sadly, nobody besides Snake, Meryl, and Johnny are actually seen in action, I should say. Or I guess also Otacon.
Raiden, how is he?
He'll live.
I was so surprised by that dialogue because I genuinely thought the end of the last chapter was supposed to imply that he was dead. There are a lot of characters in this game that are essentially just here to provide exposition and to just explain things and just move the plot forward without necessarily having to rely on Snake or Otacon's characters being hurt. Those characters being Drebin, Meryl, Naomi, and Mei Ling. Drebin and Meryl still manage to get a sense of personality out of what they are. Like, just look at what the fuck Drebin's doing here. Can you really see Naomi or Mei Ling doing, or sorry, Naomi or Meryl doing this? Which, granted, they don't have to be doing it, but I kind of have to get a sense of who they are. And even just doing something like this, just like, yeah, here's what Drebin would do. So even something like that, that works as both a reference and also something he'd just do.
I'm on the side of whoever.
I don't want to know what that monkey was doing off screen. It disgusted Otacon.
It is. I'm all out.
By the way, a later cutscene proves that that is bullshit. It actually would have been a neat touch if, like, if for the rest of this act, the cigarettes are actually a missing economy, a missing item, and you can't equip it. Actually, that might be the case. I never really checked, because there's no real reason to use cigarettes, obviously. Right here is, okay. So what I'm assuming is the case with a lot of these cutscenes is that they intentionally remove color from initial models. Like here, there is so much color, more color in this cutscene than in any other point in the game, and it's really weird. Like only in this shot do Meryl, where Meryl is here, does like Otacon's hair look remotely red. It's like Otacon's hair is whatever color somebody else's hair who doesn't match Snake's is. Like even here, it just turned brown.
He'll make Haven his flagship.
And I kind of like that right there that they took the time to just like have a little bit of a communication with freaking Mei Ling and Otacon. Also neat, although I do like the thing here, which is like, in this one cutscene, all of your support except Meryl, all of your support characters from Metal Gear Solid 1 have a moment. Well, obviously except Naomi, but she's dead.
It's time.
I was wondering, like, if he actually was talking directly to Meryl or anyone during that speech, because I thought at first it was just Snake, but it sounds like it was supposed to be Snake, Johnny, Meryl, and presumably also Otacon and Mei Ling, that they were even given some time. Yeah, as much as I've trashed elements of this game, and specifically around characters like Meryl, they're even, like, characters that I don't like the transitions they've made, have things about them that I liked. And right there, that just that little bit of a moment where even in, like, in the face of possible death, Meryl still takes a certain, like, level of weight to hearing her father's words. Onus is a word that is like, every time I hear someone use it, it sounds like they're trying to be epic. But every time I hear it, it's a funny word. Just change the O to an A. So yeah, a bit of a new versus old technology going on here, but I think it at least sets the stage as like, as much as this has been supposedly a ceasefire, is like this is the new warfare, and this is the new zone of war you're gonna have to occupy. Oh, nice camera angle. You know, that really shows how much she's bracing for impact. Weird thing is with a lot of Kojima games is like, I always think like he gets unintentional direction. Like this is something in Phantom Pain I noticed, that he made a lot of the direction in that game look really romantic, even when it's clearly not supposed to be. Like I'm talking cutscenes with Snake and Kaz. They haven't been romantic since that one time on the beach. I'm not sure why they didn't bring like a mattress or something. It's like there's a risk, there's like a 99% chance of injury with fucking landing no matter what. I don't know what their plan was, but then again, I think this was thought up in an hour.
Are you okay?
Hurt the hell of a lot more without S.O.P.
Makes you feel alive, doesn't it? What about Occupy?
He fell into the
Another moment right there is just like of like something where it's like it pushes like the events that are occurring, but at the same time you get a sense of like how Snake acts around Meryl and just how Snake acts, period. This cutscene does a really good job of like just getting the sense of how many frogs are in here. I'm really not sure how Meryl actually ended up in this situation. Because Meryl is in the middle of this room, but it's how? How did she get in here? There are 4 entrances in here, but if she hurt her ankle, how the heck did she walk all the way over to the center of it? No matter what, that would involve going down some steps. I'm also just still not sure why they didn't just kill her. But then again, Snake has to go in here no matter what. That was so unnecessary. And unlike that, the twirl in midair didn't look cool in the slightest. And at 23:08, we have our Grunt of the Night. We have Johnny screaming as he's being hurled through the air, spinning like a cannonball, and he runs into the side of Arsenal Gear and goes... That's all for this part. Join me next time when we fight Screaming Mantis. See you guys then.